with the intentions of stealing everything?
Oh hey, good to see you there. This is Fairytale Group 1, and we're doing Alibaba and the 40 Thieves and the Fisherman and his Wife.
The Fisherman and His Wife is a fairy tale of a poor fisherman and his wife who live in a little hut by the sea. One day, the fisherman leaves home to go fish. While fishing, he catches something a bit odd, a talking prince fish who had a spell cast upon him. The prince fish begs to be set back to sea, and the fisherman releases him. The fisherman goes back home and tells his wife what happened. His wife, furious, orders her husband to return back to sea and have the fish grant him wishes. At first, the husband humbly replies no, but the wife forces him to ask the fish for a decent cottage to live in. After the fish grants that wish, the wife becomes very, very greedy and asks her husband for a mansion. The fish very generously grants each and every wish. This pattern continues, and the situation is exacerbated by the wife's excessive greed. The fisherman continues to beg for the fish to grant the wishes on his wife's command. The situation continues to get out of hand until the wife asks to be God himself. The fisherman asks the prince fish to grant that wish, but the prince fish finally refuses. A vicious storm comes, and the calm afterwards reveals that the couple had lost everything and returned to their humble state.
In Günter Grass's novel, The Flounder, written in 1977, various allusions are made to the fisherman and his wife. Grass's story takes place from a wide range of dates from the Neolithic period to modern times, exploring feminist issues and ideas. Similar to the fisherman and his wife, a Neolithic fisherman begins by catching an extraordinary fish. This fish teaches the fisherman various concepts and ideas that would advance civilization, such as how to count numbers and how to control women. The fish provides boons of knowledge in Grass's tale, and the princely fish in the fisherman and his wife provides materialistic boons. The flounder in Grass's story is always ready to be summoned for advice, just as the fish in The Fisherman and His Wife continually comes to the fisherman's pleas. Though we see these allusions, what is the eventual point of alluding to these specific tales? Towards the end of Grass's novel, the flounder intentionally gets caught by a group of 3 feminists, as he decides that men have ruined the world and women should run the world. The women ignore his generosity and decide to punish him instead for his past crimes against women. This is similar to the fisherman and his wife, as the wife continues to abuse the fish's excessive generosity. As a result, the usage of this allusion allows us to compare the flounder's situation with that of the fish and the fisherman and his wife.
Additionally, we see another allusion to the fisherman and his wife in Virginia Woolf's novel, To the Lighthouse. This novel explores the idea of gender roles and feminism. When Mrs. Ramsay is reading the tale, The Fisherman and His Wife, to her son James, we see an ironic allusion to the morals taught in the grim tale. The direct reference to the tale itself is not an allusion, but rather the moral lessons themselves are the allusions. The fisherman and his wife is considered to express a traditional view on women, where in the story, the wife's greed and desire for materialism eventually leads to negative events. Though it would seem paradoxical to use a tale that portrays women negatively in a book that provides commentary on gender roles, Woolf uses this to create irony and prove a point. To alter her readers' perceptions, she flops the gender roles to be more unconventional, where the male fisherman's disposition corresponds to Mrs. Ramsay, and the wife's personality in The Fisherman and His Wife corresponds to Mr. Ramsay. Mr. Ramsay is always unsatisfied and demanding attention from his family, while Mrs. Ramsay is submissive and listens to her husband. In conclusion, Woolf uses the lesson taught in The Fisherman and His Wife regarding the unsatisfied and greedy nature of females to draw parallels with non-traditional views of gender.
This fairy tale involves 2 brothers, Ali Baba, who is a very poor man, and Kasim, who married rich. One day, Ali Baba was in the forest cutting wood, and he sees a group of men approaching on horses. And he first assumes that is the authorities, and so he jumps into a tree and hides so he doesn't get arrested. But later he finds out that it is a group of 40 thieves. The thieves enter and leave a mysterious cave with the password "Open Sesame" and "Close Sesame." After the thieves leave, Ali Baba ventures into the cave and finds there are jewels and gold. He takes some because his family is poor, and he heads home, and he doesn't plan on telling anybody about this cave, but eventually his brother Kasim finds out. Kasim one day just went missing, and Ali Baba knew that it was because he went to the cave. So Ali Baba went to the cave and tried to find his brother, and he found his brother's chopped up body laying in front of the door. From the thieves as a sign, "This is my cave, do not enter." And so Ali Baba takes his remains and tries to give him a proper burial with Kasim's slave girl, Morgiana. The thieves return to the cave and realize that Kasim's body is gone, so they automatically assume that one, somebody knows about the cave, and two, that they have to kill whoever it is so no one else steals his treasure. Throughout the remainder of this story, Ali Baba, with Morgiana's help, continue to evade the group of thieves. Towards the end, Morgiana kills the leader of the thieves and the other 39 thieves and marries Ali Baba's son. Ali Baba goes on to live in Kasim's castle, and the rest of the story ends very happily for him, well, besides his dead brother.
In Marie Melody starring Bugs Bunny, there is an episode titled Ali Baba Bunny from 1957. This cartoon is a direct allusion to Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. The cartoon opens with the robber, Sultan, saying "Close Sesame," with a direct correlation with the fairy tale. Sultan told his robber buddy, Hassan, to guard the door from anyone else entering to steal some of the found jewels. Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck then dig under Hassan, who is unable to remember the term "Open Sesame," and digs up, realizing they are not in Pismo Beach, but in a cave with jewels. When Daffy spots the jewels, he then makes an attempt to bury Bug under the dirt. Daffy pushes out the gold, and Hassan, who was finally able to open the door, tries to chop up the boys. The cartoon becomes a bit distant from the original fairy tale when Bugs Bunny pretends to be a genie and grants Hassan 3 wishes to be able to escape the cave unhurt. They both finally get out, and Hassan comes to the realization that they were there to steal. At the end of the cartoon, Daffy is shrunk by a genie and tries to steal Bug's pearl from a shell, and the last line was, "Close Sesame," and Daffy is stuck in the pearl. This closely relates to the original fairy tale by the correlation of Sultan ordering Hassan to chop anyone else who attempts to open the cave. Although not successful, Hassan greatly represents the original thief tasked with chopping up Kasim.
In addition to an allusion made by a popular cartoon, there are also allusions made to the world of art. The artwork shown is by Maxfield Parrish, titled "The Arabian Nights." This piece of artwork shows a man sitting in the cave of gold and jewels, holding a sword. This painting alludes to Kasim, and how he had never thought in his wildest dreams to reach the great lengths of getting chopped up. This painting depicts a figurative representation of how, after Kasim died, he remains puzzled and confused as to how he was so blinded by the prospect of wealth. This artwork was originally created to illustrate stories such as Aladdin, the talking bird, the singing tree, and the golden water. Though paintings are generally very open to interpretation, this piece alludes closely to Kasim's disposition. Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves and the Fisherman and his wife share a common theme of greed. With greed comes death and suffering. So remember to be grateful for what you have. Bro, did you get that? You get that?